Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing the eTrailer Fuse Bypass Kit for the CURT RVI Shadow 2 on our 2024 Ford Bronco. So chances are, if you have the CURT braking system for your Bronco or any other vehicle, what can happen with these is you can end up, your system will run all the time and you can end up getting a dead battery. What this is going to do for you is give you a switch where when you're not flat towing, you'll be able to flip the switch inside your vehicle or out here, and you'll be able to turn this off so you're not getting any drain on your battery. So the switch I was talking about, we have mounted on the inside of our vehicle. Now keep in mind, you can mount this underneath your hood or in your vehicle. We decided to go this route with it, and it turned out really well. What it's going to allow you to do is just easily click on the system on and off from in here. Now, say you're done flat towing and you plan on being at your camp for a while. You don't want your battery to go dead while it's sitting there while your system's fully hooked up. So this way, this is going to allow you to click it off right here without having to get underneath your hood and pull a fuse so your battery isn't draining. This is just a really nice option, and it just kind of makes things a total package when you're setting things up for a flat tow setup. And this is a great addition to your CURT Shadow 2 braking system. So the way this works is now we have our system off, and all you have to do to kick it back on, say you're going to do some flat towing, all you have to do is click on your switch and get all hooked up and you're good to go. When you're done and you're all unhooked and you're not flat towing, all you have to do is click that off and you're not hooked up to the system anymore. So that's about all there is to that. It's a really simple setup. If you have any questions or comments about this switch setup for your Ford Bronco, feel free to leave any questions or comments down below in the comments section, or you can get a hold of one of our experts here at eTrailer. They'd be happy to help you out. Now, as far as installation goes, it's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of a little bit different. You're probably going to have to drill a hole to get the switch mounted up. But if it's something you don't have time to do yourself, or you just don't feel like messing with it, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. If it's something you feel like tackling yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to want to find a good place to put our switch. And on our Bronco here, there is a spot right here, and you want to make sure that you have room behind it. What we're going to do is we're just going to pop this down and just carefully pull that back, and that's going to pop loose for you, and it is hinged, so it will swing down. Now we're going to have this open area right back behind here, and that's going to allow this to come back up and have room for the back of our switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick this location right here, and that's also going to help us center up a good spot for this to go. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take a drill and I'm going to punch a hole through here and then through, and that'll give me enough room where I can have come back in and open the hole up more. So I'm just going to take a drill bit and get in the center of our location, and I'm going to come back through. After I get this punched out, I'll have a step bit, and I'm going to just gradually make this hole wider until my switch fits nice and tight. What I want to do is just alternate from one side to the other, gradually getting this bigger. And what I'll do is I'll pop my wires off here and just kind of check and see with my switch. As I go along, the size that I'm going to need. And we can see we're going to need to go quite a bit bigger. Now, after I kept working at this, we did end up getting the hole just big enough to where I was able to thread this in. It was kind of hard to thread in place, but on our particular situation here, we're not going to be able to put the threaded plastic nut on the back, so I just kept working at this until I got it the right size to where it fits really tight. Now if we look here, we can see how that's going to look. It's going to look really nice. It's going to work well, and you'll barely notice it's there. With our switch in place, now we'll just put our wires back on the back of our switch. And want to make sure we have our harness ran through where we want it to go. With that all connected, I like to put a little electric tape around this, and then we'll go ahead and push our panel back up and get it clicked back into place. Now for our duplex wire that comes in our kit, I did end up running that through a grommet back here, and it's kind of hard to see, but I just kind of made a slit in the grommet and ran my wire through into the cab of our vehicle and left a bunch of extra out here. Now when I get it all set up where I want it, I can always pull some out and shorten it up, and I don't have to tuck as much of it on the inside. Now with our particular situation, we're only running one circuit out of ours. It is set up where you can have two circuits coming out of it and two different fuse holders. I pulled one side of that out, and I'm only going to be using one fuse holder to our switch, so keep that in mind. You can set that up either way you want to have that for your situation. Now back in the vehicle, I have my harness end, and I'm going to have these two ends on here that I'm not going to be using. So all I'm going to do is just cut those off and strip those wires back. Now that I have those stripped back, I'm going to twist my wires. And for my duplex wire, I essentially did the same thing, just got those all stripped back. So now I have some heat shrink butt connectors, and I just want to get them put on the ends of my wire and get those crimped in place. Now all I have to do is take my other two ends and get them crimped on the ends of our wire. I'm going to go with the black to the black. Now I'll run my red wire to the white. Now I'll come back through with my heat source and shrink up my butt connectors. Now what we're looking for on these is you're going to want to get it shrink down pretty good, and then you're going to see most of the bubbles come out. And when we're all good, we're going to have a little bit of gel come out of that end. That's how we'll know we have a good seal. Now we're back under the hood right by our RVI Shadow 2, and what I need to do is get some wires connected real quick. So I have my wire that comes out of my Shadow box, and what I want to do is get one of my wires set up to go to my duplex so that I have my ends crimped on. And again, we're going to use our heat shrink butt connectors on this, especially since it's outside of the vehicle. They work really nice to keep things from corroding in the future. Now we have that. We have power running out of our switch to our box. So now what I need to do is get power to our battery. So what I have here is my end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fuse holder that I cut off of the end. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us a fuse that's closer to our battery. So in the event anything happens or there's a short, it's going to pop this fuse before it burns the whole line all the way into our vehicle. So I'm just going to strip this off and get that connected to my butt connector and get that crimped in place. Get a good crimp on that and give it a little pull. Make sure we have good connections. Now I'll come back through and heat up my butt connectors and shrink those in place. Now we got everything shrinked up here and it got a good seal on that. And I did go ahead and hook up my negative wire running. That's our blue wire coming out of our Shadow box here. And now I'm going to need to hook up my positive side. So what I'm going to do is just use one of these terminals that come right off of our battery. And I'm going to take a nut off one of those. And I do have the fuse out of our fuse holder. You always want to have that out while you're doing this. Now we'll go ahead and get our ring terminal in place, get our nut reinstalled. Now we'll go ahead and tighten that back down. With that, we can cover it back up. So I went ahead and installed both of our 20 amp fuses. Now we'll check and see if our switch works. We have it off now. Now I'll just click it on and we can check our box and see if we have lights. Now we have our switch off and I'll click it on and we can see that our switch is working. Now we have lights coming on our box and that lets us know that our switch is working correctly. With our switch working, that'll do it for our installation of our eTrailer fuse bypass kit for our CURT RVI braking system for our 2024 Ford Bronco. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.